Live with you this evening from an overcast Páirc Uí Rinn and the Group 1 meeting, the decisive Group 1 meeting of Cloyne and Newcestown. Both sides one win and one defeat in their opening two games. They're behind the 100%ers in the group, that's Canturk, and both chasing that coveted second spot this evening, and with that a place in the quarter-finals. Des Curran, delighted to have Mark Landers, All-Ireland winning captain and two-time county champion with McKilly alongside me. We'll get Mark's opening thoughts in just a moment, but first of all we'll start by hearing from both camps. A little bit earlier on I spoke to Cloyne's selector John O'Lamassney and also to the Newcestown manager Jim O'Sullivan. John, looking at the two games in the group that you played so far, I suppose a disappointing first day against Canturk, but much better against Killa.
Yes, obviously, we were desperately disappointed against Canturk. I mean, we didn't get to the pitch of the game, and we reviewed that seriously afterwards, and we parked it up effectively then because we had to move forward. And yeah, it was a big improvement against Killa.
In what areas in particular were you happier with how the second day went?
Well, I think this, to be honest with you, overall, I think our work rate and our commitment really was somewhat lacking against Canturk. Maybe that you can put that down to first game, but it was the same for both teams, and I think we got to the grips of the game early on, and we maintained that momentum right throughout the game against Killa. And now to this game against Newcestown, and you're coming into it knowing you have to win, which clarifies everything really for the players, doesn't it? Yeah, I think it's an ideal situation really, Des. Like it's win or take all today really. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. You win the game today, you're in the quarter final. You lose the game today and you're out. But both teams, well, actually Newcestown probably a draw will get them through, but from our perspective we have to win the game today, and that's what we've been focusing on, and it's a winners take all, as I say today. And just a word finally on Newcestown. Well, Newcestown have to go into this as favourites really. Newcestown ran Canturk very close. We were well beaten by Canturk. We don't underestimate the task ahead of us, but at the same time I feel if our lads will play to their ability and bring their talent to bear here out here, and the right commitment, I think we'll be thereabouts. Raring to go. Raring to go. Bring it on. Jim, you've just updated me on the team news and one major blow. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Cloyne there got picked up an injury against Castlehaven. He got 6 stitches in the shin bone, so he's not considered for today. So it's a big blow to us, but we've a panel, and that's what the panel is for. And Jimmy Keller is coming centre forward, and hopefully Jimmy will do a job for us.
Give us your thoughts on the two games in the group so far. Double scores win the opening day against Killa, and then ran Canturk very close in the second game.
We did, I suppose, but in the two games, our biggest downfall was, I suppose, we started poorly. We started poorly against Killa, but recovered just before half time. Against Canturk, we went down 8 points. It was a big ask to come back, but we brought them down to 2 points in the end, and it just was too much for us against a very good Canturk team, in fairness.
You had that spell against Canturk. Was it in 3 minutes you shipped or in 10 minutes you shipped the 3 goals, which was obviously gave you a lot to do then? Yeah,
it was. I think between the 10th and 20th minute we gave away 3 goals. They probably ran at us, but hopefully that won't happen today, and we're trying to alleviate that now, really. Just going through your panel, it's double figures and then some in terms of dual senior players, and it's been a punishing schedule. How welcome was the 2-week break, if we can call it a break, coming into this game? Well, there's, I think we're playing 6 out of 7 weeks, and I think there's 12 players starting in both teams. I know this year is probably unique due to the circumstances. I like the format of the hurling football championships, but I suppose when you're a dual club and you have so many players over both teams, it is punishing. 6 out of 7 weeks you're going to pick up injuries. We have a couple of fellas coming back that are on the panel today that weren't on the panel against Canturk or Killa, so things are good, but I suppose the week previous to this we took a break, so we're back into a week of hurling, probably 8 or 9 days of hurling, and you could see the last couple of nights, last night especially training Thursday night, the touch was better, and they were in better form. Just a word then on coming into this. Cloyne know they have to win. Newcestown know a draw or a win will get the job done for you, but I don't think any team has ever gone in playing for a draw, so it's all guns blazing for the win today. Yeah, I suppose that's the beauty of it. I suppose if you go through all the groups, everyone has something to play for. It's either if you want to top the group, if you want to qualify, or if you want to stay out of relegation. So that makes it really interesting. So I suppose ourselves and Cloyne, we're looking to qualify. So it's just all systems go and just go home for 1 hour, and we'll see what happens at the end. So those are the views of the Newcestown manager Jim O'Sullivan and the Cloyne selector John O'Lamassney ahead of this game. Mark, let's start with the Cloyne team sheet. I know they were sweating, having talked to them during the week on the fitness of Owen Motherway, Brian Walsh, Maurice Lynch, Brian O'Shea of the quartet. All are available. Brian Walsh in the starting 15. But you look through this team: Donald O'Cusack in goal, Keith Dennehy,
a presence around the middle of that pitch. Paddy O'Sullivan, so much senior success at county level with Killy in the last few years, and the Cahals as well.
Yes, one major change there was Stephen Buzang has come in at full back. He didn't start in the last game against Killa, but as you mentioned, like a very, very experienced goalkeeper, fantastic keeper, and Donald Cusick will keep control on his backs as well, and he won't be giving away anything easy there. And then, as you mentioned there, Keith Denny in the middle of the field, but also Ashley Welch, who's been outstanding in the middle of the field. A big player for Cloyne today would be Brian Walsh, who played at midfield as well, even though he's named at 14, but played as a third midfielder against Killa the last day and got 4 points from play. And inside, two very young lads, Mickey Cahill and Noel Cahill, two lightning quick corner forwards with a great touch. Mickey Cahill takes the freeze as well for Cloyne up front. So, and you mentioned the experienced Paddy O'Sullivan there at centre forward as well, and Dermot, his brother, is a sub here today. But look, overall, there's a whole pile of changes from the last game they played. I think just speaking to some of the Cloyne games, the Cloyne people after the first game against Kanturk, they didn't play so well, but they played. I think they were delighted with the result the last day, in particular the last quarter where they outscored Killa 9 points to 1. So all in all, I think they'll be looking for another solid performance today, and the big thing is obviously whoever wins this game goes forward into the championship.
Well, let's move on to Newcestown then. They were without Colm O'Donovan, who's set for shoulder surgery after being injured in the club's senior football outing against Castlehaven, and that's a game that's really taken its toll, as we found out earlier on, as you've heard there from Jim O'Sullivan. Cora Keane, so vital for this team, the dual star. He needed stitches after an injury in that game, and with that injury being so recent and the stitches so fresh, he also misses out today. Sean O'Donovan red carded against Killa, available again for this one, but the loss of Cora Keane, as we heard there earlier, is a massive one.
Yes, he's a massive loss, and he's an accomplished hurler, and he's certainly a fantastic footballer as well. He's a huge loss, but it wouldn't surprise me, Des, if the game was tight here coming down the stretch, that we would see him. I suppose the fact that Newcestown has so many players playing football and hurling, and they'll probably have one eye on the football match again next weekend, so they'd be hoping, I suppose, to have their business done, maybe within the first 45 minutes, but if they don't, and if they're not through to the next round, I wouldn't be surprised if you could see Cora Keane at some stage.
Yeah, the footballers of Carbery Rangers in a massive group game for them next. They've 1 win and 1 defeat in their senior football group so far. Look at the table then, Mark. It's got Kanturk. You look at the sides that are topping the Senior A groups at the moment. Kanturk, Charleville, Father O'Neill's, all recent winners of the Premier Intermediate grade, and all making a real good fist of this senior hurling now. Yes,
and like there is nothing between the three teams, in terms of scoring difference, and I suppose the first job that all those three teams will have to do today is get the win, I suppose, to make sure they try and get through to the semi-final. So of those three teams, there's going to be 2 of them go directly to a semi-final today, so a win in the board is the first thing. If all three teams win today, it'll then go to scoring differences as the first point. So I think Kanturk will be looking at trying to get the 2 points against Killa, and you have Charleville against Fermoy, a local derby. That's a very close game as well, and then you have Father O'Neill's against Ballymortal, which could be a tricky enough assignment for Father O'Neill's.
So here we are, almost ready to go. It is the decisive day in terms of the Senior A Hurling Championship. Who will be booking their place in the quarterfinals? The top 2 best sides across the group winners will go straight into the semi-finals. The rest who qualify will make it into the quarterfinals. And lining up in midfield already, we can see already from a Newcestown point of view, Colm Dineen has gone in alongside Ty Toomey.
And the big thing here is that Luke Meade, who is the centre forward for Newcestown, is playing centre back for Newcestown, picking up Paddy O'Sullivan. I think that's big news, I think, in this team, and particularly because Luke Meade is I was supposed to be seen as a senior forward for Cork at this moment in time. He does play centre back for the senior football team in Newcestown, so he'll be no stranger to that. And he's a brilliant hurler as well. Possesses great pace. I suppose is probably the threat of Paddy O'Sullivan as centre forward that Newcestown are looking at to try and quell it.
So we're off and running at Páirc Uí Rinn. Which of these two can settle the better? First meaningful possession. Won by Newcestown, who looked to play the way out. As we mentioned, a whole host of senior footballers well into double figures involved with the Newcestown hurlers as well. Premier Intermediate winners back in 2015. Fifth year now in the senior championship. Couple of quarter-final appearances as well. Randy McKilly very close a couple of years ago. And in the ruck down below us, sideline ball given to Cloyne. We saw a big result for a side wearing the red and black here last week, Mark, with UCC beating McKilly.
That's right, yeah, absolutely. The colours were raised. UCC had a fantastic win over the 3 times, I suppose 3 in a row and 4 in a row, seeking county champions in McKilly.
Colm Deneen, excellent ball into the big man Fionn Keane, who has his first sight of the goals, but that one going left and wide. Fionn Keane, brother of Cork, big target man inside there. Yeah, picking him up at the moment is the Cloyne captain Brian Fleming. First ball to be contested from a puck out, and it's Newcestown who win it, and Conor O'Neill comes back to safety and picked up by that man wearing 11, but operating, as you said, from the start, as centre half back. Luke Meade, the Cork senior, drops it into the dangerous area. Scramble for possession. Eventually Cloyne can kick it away, but here's a shooting opportunity. And that one, as the umpires have a little look at each other, is over the bar from the man, the late call-up James Kelleher.
Yeah, a very good score there from James Kelleher. A high ball that came in from Luke Meade, batted out by the Cloyne defence and laid off to James Kelleher, who did well on the second attempt to get the ball over the bar.
James Kelleher starting in that position vacated by Luke Meade in the number 11 role. Here's a chance for Cloyne though. Kieran Mullins setting sail over on that far side, has a good look at the posts. Not an easy chance, and across the face of goal and wide from Kieran Mullins. 2 points against Killa, unable to find one there.
Yeah, and it's noticeable that both Paddy O'Sullivan and Luke Meade are on a lot of ball already and dispersing it very well.
Now the call was made obviously by the Newcestown selectors to put Luke Meade back there. Paddy O'Sullivan playing where his number would indicate. It's a fascinating contest. We've got some great matchups today, but great contrast between the goalkeepers as well. 43-year-old multi-decorated, multi-title winner Donal Cusack, and the teenager at the other end, Cathal Wilson, son of Charlie, a senior county winner with Carbery back in the mid-90s.
That's right. I played against both of them, Des, down through the years, but I suppose Donal was winning a minor All-Ireland back in 1995, and Cathal wasn't around at that stage, so there's a huge difference in terms of age and stuff like that. But the importance of both the players and the positions that they hold today is still exactly the same. But we're looking forward to seeing young Cathal Wilson playing goals. His dad Charlie was a fantastic keeper, both for Carbery and for Newcestown. Mikey
Cathal out looking at his first free of the day. 8 points against Kanturk, 6 from place balls, 8 against Killa, 7 from place balls. Suggests he's had a good campaign so far. It's a dangerous ball, and Cathal Wilson, the goalkeeper, just lost it for a moment. Didn't have the legs, that one from Mikey Cathal. Still might be an opportunity there for Cloyne though. A nice turn from Conor Cathal, but he's bottled up by 3-4 Newcestown defenders over there. And the ruck for possession begins. And over there for Cloyne is Noel Cathal. Stalemate, and Cathal unable to get it up onto his stick, and eventually it's Newcestown who can come away with it. But they're making hard work of it. It might be a goal opportunity here for Cloyne, who are in. Great chance, and there's the opening goal. Slammed to the net by Noel Cathal. It looked like Newcestown had averted the danger, but one pass too many maybe as they tried to work their way out, and Noel Cathal took full advantage.
Yeah, and he was very, very good against Killa as well the last day. Very, very sharp, great touch, and he showed great composure around the Newcestown defence and tapped the ball to the net. A great start for Cloyne.
Now one of the minors on this Cloyne senior team starting today, Noel Cathal, and what start to the game for him. Showed real composure as well to go around the advancing Cathal Wilson, the Newcestown goalkeeper, and just stroke it into the empty net.
Now, just going back to the goal that was scored, Des, I mean, the ball was over in the far corner here in Páirc Uí Rinn. There were 7 or 8 people around it. Nobody actually claimed the ball, and it flicked around, and next of all the danger came back into the square, and it was great play by Noel Cathal to pick it up, and showed fierce composure for a kid who's only playing minor this year with his club, and he finished it well past the goalkeeper in Cathal Wilson.
Here's Cian Healy. Heavy score in the championship for Newcestown so far, and Donald Cusack has to wave that one over his crossbar. Cian Healy's first score of the day, 1-9 against Killa, 12 points against Kanturk, and 1 now against Cloyne for Cian Healy.
A very important score as well for Newcestown to get, to knock the stuffing out of the goal that was got for Cloyne.
Great delivery from Donald Cusack, lands it right into the waiting hand of Keith Dennehy. But Newcestown working hard around the middle third to get possession back again. Coming away with it is Éanna Motherway, another of the minors in this Cloyne team. Middleton CBS student. Dangerous ball dropped inside as well. Lovely pick up, and on the turn it's Mikey Cahill. Umpire's having a good look, but this one just drifting to the left and wide.
Yeah, but a nice smart ball in from Paddy O'Sullivan, right in front of Mickey Cahill. Showed in front, got a good touch, looked up. Just his eye was out a little bit, but he'll settle down after that now.
Yeah, a good little run from Luke Meade out to the far side, evading the attentions of Paddy O'Sullivan to receive the puck out from Cahill Wilson. Newcestown on the attack again. That breaks away from Sean O'Donovan, cousin of Garrod and Cullum. Midfield for the footballers, Sean O'Donovan, big man in there as well. They have a couple, Sean O'Donovan, Fionn Keane. If there could be some high ball raining in on top of that Cloyne full back line.
Yeah, and it has been a feature so far that a number of the attacks from the Newcestown players have been struck in high, but Newcestown are playing with kind of a two-man inside line, and as you mentioned, Sean O'Donovan is a very tall player, so you couldn't expect that they certainly won't want to be putting the ball into the goalkeeper in the down low, because his handling is excellent, and his awareness of where his defenders are and his midfielders are is outstanding as well. So they will be trying to land a lot of the ball in the top of Sean O'Donovan.
And what a sideline cut that is. We saw one last week from Mark Coleman. We've seen another one today, and that was Jack Meade, the brother of Luke. That was just a real art form, and he executed it superbly. And good response to the concession of the goal from Newcestown. This one in towards the goal scorer Noel Cahill again, beaten to it this time. Newcestown getting out in front, a winning good ball, and now charging forward is their number 7, Cullum Deneen. Sets up an opportunity to his right hand side, and starting to find their groove now, Newcestown.
Well, it's the response to the goal is the major thing. I mean, there is a bit of, the wind is actually swirling here in Páirc Uí Rinn, because the tricolour is blowing to the Pack Rock end, and the flags on the field are actually blowing into the city end. So the wind at the moment hasn't any major influence, but on the field of play it's 4 scores versus 1 score.
And Jack Meade's point from the sideline, followed by his midfield partner Ty Toomey, slotting over that latest one. And looking to go on the attack again with Fionn Keane. Breaks out of his hand though, as he almost ends up in the Cloyne dugout. So a good contest so far. 4 well taken points for Newcestown to the goal from Noel Cahill for Cloyne. 1 point game, 7.5 minutes played.
And even looking at the mentors, there's on both sides. You've Tim Crowley and Jim Sullivan, Peter O'Halloran and the Newcestown, very, very experienced. And you've John O'Lamaston and Donny Cahill. A lot of people would know Donny from being around the East Cork board and Terence Conlon as well. Very experienced men on both sides. And interesting enough, Vincey Hurley from Cossey Rovers is training Newcestown, and Peter Cody from Youghal is training Cloyne.
Cloyne sideline cut. Lovely contact on that one, lands into the waiting hand though of Luke Meade. And now Meade can set off. A little bit of open ground in front of him, pops the hand pass to find Cullum Deneen. Newcestown back in possession again. Mark Courtney, one of the few who isn't a dual player, and Courtney's injured, took a blow to the ribs there as he was getting rid of that ball. But play will go on. Newcestown in possession again, and lots of open space to attack here for Garrod O'Donovan. And Garrod O'Donovan, All-Ireland under-20 winner at football with Cork last year in that terrific final against Dublin, is the latest to put his name on the scoreboard. And the referee's attention now drawn to the prone Mark Courtney, who's going to need some attention. But another well taken score, that one from Garrod O'Donovan.
Yeah, and Mark Courtney just said, he clashed in with one of the Cloyne players. There was nothing in it, absolutely. And but what you're finding with the Newcestown style of play at the moment is that a little bit of football, because what they're doing is the man in possession gets the ball. There's great communication with the fellas left and right of them. They're not panicking. They're not slapping the ball into the corners for the sake of slapping it in there. And they're finding their men. And what you're finding is there's a lot of overlaps actually coming in the Newcestown team as well. There's been, particularly over on the far side of the field from the stand here, there's been 2 or 3 scores scored there where you have a number of the Newcestown players overlapping and getting in possession, and that's more a football trait than a holding trait.
Niall Murray, just looking away to our left of Newcestown, has gone on for a little warm-up just as they wait on the the report on the fitness of Mark Courtney, but 5 points from 5 different scorers as well for Newcestown so far. That will delight the manager, Jim O'Sullivan. And here they are again, Colm Deneen, the number 7, getting on plenty of ball already from that half back line. And now one arrow down into the corner. Referee will bring it back for a chop though.
Yeah, and you know, in the, I suppose overall at this moment, you know, Kieran O'Regan, the referee, has been leaving the game flow, and there's nothing in it at the moment, and you'd have to say that a lot of the possession coming from puck outs and coming from general play is landing just on the Newcestown half back line, and they seem to be well on top. That 3 half backs and the 2 midfielders are well on top at this moment in time.
Our coverage again today brought to you in association with Co-op Stores, and we're off to a Parky Queeve later on. Douglas and Middleton in the Premier Senior. Dunlow Cusack eyes on that one all the way. Little improvised pass, and Cloyne can start looking forward again. Hand pass finds Dave German, and that's a wasted pass as they try to work the way out through, and Jack Hallahan, no chances, that was played behind him.
Yeah, but it was good play by the Newcestown forwards as well, that they were forcing the defender to go short with him. They weren't giving him an opportunity to hit it long, and they forced a turnover here now in a very, very dangerous position.
We have a perfect angle of this when he landed one from the far sideline. Jack Mead, dare he do it from this side? Oh, he's unlucky there. The ball just rolled as he was about to strike it. Dave German for Cloyne trying to get down on that ball again. Jack Mead up against his opposite number, Ashley Walsh.
He'll get a second chance, Des, to take 2 in this situation, but I don't know whether the cameras can pick it up at this moment in time, but there is only 4 players, if you include the keeper, inside the Newcestown, or sorry, the Cloyne half of the field at this moment in time. Everybody else is back on the other side of the field.
So take 2, as you said, for Jack Mead. And this one doesn't go much better. And Cloyne back in possession, and now they look to work their way away. It's Keith Dennehy. Lots of energy, covers a lot of ground. Drops that one into his inside forward line, asking the Cahals to contest for it. And good work from the Newcestown defence again, and once again it's Colm Deneen, and the intent straight away to start charging forward. Pops it off to Jack Mead, who had to juggle with it as the pressure was coming late. Mead under pressure now, and Cloyne bodies around, and strong work from Jack Hallahan.
Yeah, and Kieran O'Regan tried to leave the game develop there. Just, I suppose, Jack Mead's enthusiasm to get to the ball has been a small. He's hurriedly clashed with the half-back of Cloyne, Brian Minahan, and a free in for Cloyne.
Which is taken by Ashley Walsh over towards that far corner, and the goal scorer, Cahill. Newcestown back in possession, and this time they go direct and they go long towards the man wearing 17, James Kelleher. Manages to break the ball down to himself, and then off his left hand side, that's brilliantly charged down. But back in possession is Garrod O'Donovan, the half back with 1 point to his name already. He's got 5 or 6 black and red jerseys around him, and the little push brings the blast of the whistle from the referee.
Yeah, and the Cloyne defence wrapped up. Garrod O'Donovan coming through, as you mentioned earlier on, a very accomplished footballer as well. Forced them into the turnover, and Newcestown in their enthusiasm have conceded a free here now, and it's a clearance for a free shot from the Cloyne defence.
And Cloyne will want to get that scoreboard ticking again. Just the 1 score for them so far. Another dangerous ball dropped in around to the goal scorer Noel Cahill. Here's Paddy O'Sullivan, very tight angle. And his first chance of the game, Paddy O'Sullivan, and he made it look easy. Great score.
Yeah, excellent score from Paddy O'Sullivan. Rifled the ball over the bar. A ball that was knocked down, went into Noel Cahill first. He knocked it down, and it fell to Paddy, and he rifled it over the bar. Fantastic score.
And Paddy O'Sullivan, who scored 2-1 in the 2018 senior county final for McKilly. Prodigious scorer of the last few years. And the referee not happy with that one.
A bit I don't know, has he awarded a free in? He hasn't a signal, but we're all presuming that he has. It looked as though both of them clashed for the ball legitimately, but he is awarding it.
Cian Healy's got his hands in it, 1 point already. More difficult free, this one.
And both teams are implementing a 2-man inside line, and I suppose the most important thing with a 2-man inside line is that the ball coming into them is hit quick and early into the side. You know, if you're starting to play through the lines and you have 2 men inside, they're redundant really.
Yeah, no problems at all for Cian Healy. As soon as he struck it, didn't even look, knew that one was struck straight and through. And it is now 6 points for Newcestown, 1-1 for Cloyne. 2-point game. Paddy O'Sullivan plucks it beautifully out of the sky. And a good ball down into the corner. Good ball that for any corner forward. And out across by Mikey Cahill. Taken neatly on the turn. Brian Walsh. They seem to have fouled the ball.
I think he was getting a bit of encouragement from the Newcestown players as well that he had overcarried it. I thought he was maybe on his 4th or 5th step, maybe maximum. But a great high field from Paddy O'Sullivan from the puck out, and a good ball into Mickey Cahill, who won a first time, and crossed it across to Brian Walsh.
Colm Deneen opens up the shoulders, puts everything behind that. It's going to drop a little bit short. Cloyne do well to break the ball away. It's picked up by James Kelleher though, trying to force his way through the mass ranks of the Cloyne defence. Cloyne managed to work it away down towards Conor Cahill. Picked up here by Brian Walsh. Again a low ball into that full forward line. Good work by Newcestown again though to spot that ball coming in, reading the pass, getting out in front. Little reverse ball inside from Brian Walsh. A little bit too much air in it for Paddy O'Sullivan and Newcestown. Looking to come away again. And Keith Dennehy on top of the Newcestown man. Not allowing Ty Toomey any chance to get off the ground.
Yeah, a turnover ball again, and I suppose it's something now that, like, if you're a mentor and would say if you're just trying to get a handle on the referee and stuff like that, he's not leaving any overcarrying certainly go at this moment in time. Even though I think there was good defence on both teams so far. When the man is in possession, they are holding him up, so they're forcing the player to either drop it, or strike it or move it on. But certainly he's not going to leave it develop, I suppose, in some respects, past four or 5 steps.
A little bit of back chat afterwards. The referees moved it free into a far more advantageous position now for Mikey Cahill. One free already that dropped short. Little spin of the hurl. Steps up, eyes on the target. And this one safely over the bar, and Cloyne an important couple of scores now. Paddy O'Sullivan at 1, and that one following from Mikey Cahill.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that even though Cloyne got the goal early in the game, Newcestown responded very well and got the next 4 points from play, and there was a sideline thrown in the middle of it, and there's only a point between the two teams at the moment, 6 points to a goal and 2, so there's very, very little in the game, even though I think in the overall context Newcestown has been just that slight bit sharper in terms of the amount of possession they have, but there's absolutely nothing in it. And the other thing I would say is that both forwards for Cloyne, Mickey Cahill and Noel Cahill, I think if they get enough early ball, they look as though they have that little bit of toe on the two boys. Even though Michael Maxwell, I've seen him for years, he was a dual underage player in the development squads in Cork and hurling football, so he certainly is not going to give up anything easy, but they look sharp, and in a big field like Park Ewing here today where the sod is absolutely fantastic, quick ball into those two forwards could make an awful lot of difference.
Well, Newcestown haven't hung around with the water break. They've gone over, had a very, very brief chat, and they're heading back out again. They may have seen what happened up the country during the week, and referee decided one team was hanging on too long, threw in the ball, and off they went.
Yeah, but there's the reality is it is a water break. It is not it's not a break for management to be getting, even though the management, as well as I do, management are going to give 2 or 3 messages in that minute, but it is a water break, and it's something that the GA had introduced to make sure that the matches go ahead this year. So I think in the fairness of the game, you just have to treat it that way.
A good contest this so far. Cloyne knowing they have to get the win today due to an inferior scoring difference. Newcestown know if it ended in a draw, that would be enough to send them through with Kanturk. And it's a tight affair so far. Cloyne certainly were beaten double scores by Kanturk in their opening game in Killavullen. Much, much better against Killa. Strong finish to that game. They even could afford a missed penalty from Keith Dennehy. But certainly if you're coming into a must-win game like this, maybe better to have lost the first one and won the second and have that little bit of momentum.
Well, it's a funny thing, we might be talking about the Premier Intermediate from last night, but Corsi Rovers, for people that may not know, had no point in the board last night. The other teams involved in it were Ahada and Youghal, and they had all beaten each other, but Corsi Rovers, by the fact that they beat Ahada last night, actually leapfrogged Youghal and Ahada and they're in the quarterfinals of the championship. So just in this game, it's last night that was a real turn up for the Bucks.
Yeah, and we wonder what twists and turns lie await in the Premier Senior and Senior A Championship. This is a tight one so far, as we mentioned. We've reached 19 minutes at Park Ewing. More scores for Newcestown, but the goal has certainly kept Cloyne well in touch here, and the last couple of scores have been impressive ones, and here they come again with Mikey Cahill from a tight angle. Just couldn't quite find the touch that Paddy O'Sullivan did from this near side a little bit earlier on, and that chance comes to nothing.
Yeah, Newcestown want to get on with the game a little bit quicker and stuff like that, and referee Kieran Regan waiting for the whistle to be blown.
There's a few lads who'll be meeting out here again in a few weeks. Éanna Motherway, Noel and Conor Cahill will be playing for St. Coleman's, which is the Cloyne Shanagary amalgamation, in an upcoming Minor Premier 2 semi-final against Newcestown. So these colours will be in evidence once more in an underage grade. I think that game may be on Wednesday week. The ball played in by Dave German. Nice turn that from Noel Cahill. And is he in again? He's going for his second goal of the game, and he's found it. Well, you mentioned it. Good ball into the Cahills in that full forward line for Cloyne. They could do damage. That's 2 opportunities for Noel Cahill, 2 goals now.
They might be looking at putting Luke Mead back into the full back line, because I mean, like I mentioned it earlier on, I think the 2 lads in front, they possess a great touch and great bit of pace, and very, very cool. Again, that's his second goal today now, and he's showing maturity way beyond his years. Fantastic goal.
There's an opportunity for a quick reply. Garrod O'Donovan, dangerous ball dropped in to his full forwards. Just 2 big men in there, as we mentioned earlier on. But you just wonder, Mark, this gets interesting now, because you look back to the Newcestown game against Kanturk. They conceded 3 goals in a 10-minute spell in that first half, and despite their revival, they couldn't quite get there. 2 goals shipped here in this first half as well.
Yeah, well, the one thing I find is that with Newcestown, they are not going to give up, and they will keep going. Like, you know, any football team, they possess an extra bit of fitness there, so they certainly won't be giving up before the 60 minutes is out.
And Cloyne come again. Good work by Paddy O'Sullivan to set up Keith Dennehy. And they're enjoying a good little spell here, Cloyne.
Yeah,
must-win game.
Yeah, 2-3 to 6 points, 3 points up, and you know, if there is any slight little breeze, it's not favouring any team here today.
No, the Newcestown line not happy, feeling that was down in the hands of Jack Mead.
No, but to be fair to Jack Halloran in the Cloyne jersey there, he did exactly the right thing. The ball was up to be won. He batted the ball, and you know, okay, fair enough, he went through Jack Mead. That's not a free. He's batting the ball, and if the player puts up his hand and he doesn't put up his holly to protect himself, that's his problem.
And credit Jack Mead as well, didn't make anything of it. Here's an opportunity now for David Buckley. First chance he's really had in possession. Pops it off to Cian Healy. Excellent block down that from Dave German. And his clearance, not all it should have been, and Jack Mead can return it with interest here. But left and wide.
A poor wide there now, and a poor clearance as well, but no damage done on either side.
Ball to be contested on the Newcestown half back line. Oh, it's been spilled here by Colm Dineen, and here's an opportunity for Paddy O'Sullivan. Dineen trying to get back at him. Paddy O'Sullivan steps away into space. Another fantastic score. 2 points in the game for Paddy O'Sullivan. Both scores of beauty.
Yeah, and the thing what you noticed there is that Paddy O'Sullivan, he won the ball maybe 50 yards out. He looked behind to see had he the opportunity to take it on another 10 yards, which he did. He made the score secure, tapped the ball over the bar, and a very, very good score for Cloyne.
Scored 11.38 by my calculations in the last 3 senior campaigns within McKilly. Paddy O'Sullivan, 3 times a senior county championship winner. And Cloyne looking forward again. It's Kieran Mullins to send it down that far side. Didn't have enough on it though to hit Noel Cahill. Luke Mead can play it away, picked up by James Kelleher, and Kelleher has time to set his sights here. And this also going left and wide.
And there is the difference between Paddy O'Sullivan and James Kelleher. And not being critical on James, but he had so much time that he should knock the ball out, but he could have took it on another 5 or 10 yards and made sure of the score.
Conor Cahill no way through. Good work by Newcestown in their half back line again. Here's James Kelleher. It's hard work to get out for either side at the minute. Colm Dineen saw the man in space on this near side. Good pass to pick out Mark Courtney, the cornerback, who's well up the pitch. Here's Jack Mead, who's seen a lot of ball in this first half, but Dave German is really getting to the pitch of this game now the longer it goes. Big clearance downfield from Jack Hallahan, chasing the man Noel Cahill, the youngster who's on a hat-trick now already. 2 goals already in this first half, both superbly taken. Dineen turning inside into pressure, kept his composure though. Now they can work it out towards this near side. Pass over hit though. No opportunity there for Luke Mead.
Yeah, one pass too much there, Des. They got the opportunity to clear it, and an overhit pass to Luke Mead. Off camera here we're seeing there's a booking here for the left half back Jack Hallahan from Cloyne for, I think what the referee has indicated is a slap at a hurley from a previous incident. So good play by the referee to pick up on something that happened some time ago.
That composure, that poise that Newcestown started the game with just looks to have deserted them in the last few minutes. They look to rediscover that and push on for some more scores. 6 well taken points, but it's been a while since they've had one now, as Cloyne have come back at them strongly to turn a disadvantageous position into one where they're ahead on the scoreboard now. And here's the man who can do no wrong at the moment, Noel Cahill. And as soon as we say that, he puts one wide.
He's a bit far out from goals. That man only likes goals, Des, to be fair. And again now here, a big decision here again now. I suppose I don't know now whether he has spoken to the both goalkeepers before the game, that he is basically saying to them, that you can't whistle. No, what he's indicating here is that the Newcestown player got the ball before inside the 21-yard line. Now that's a big pick up for a referee that was 40 yards away. But look, it is what it is. But we've got to be very careful in the puck outs here. If you're in charge of any team here, you'll be sent to both keepers. You need to be really, because Kieran is really, I suppose he's reffing very strict today.
It's the second time Cahill Wilson has been, the young goalkeeper has been caught for an indiscretion with his puck out. Ball is thrown in, and it's Newcestown who gain possession. Sent towards centre field. Races on now to try and get to it, and losing out was David Buckley. Here's Garrod O'Donovan, who's had a big first half for Newcestown. Big, strong, athletic wing back. Is the same position for the senior footballers. Lovely take that. Here's an opportunity for Sean O'Donovan. First good ball he's had. Got out in front, got it into his right hand, had a look over the bar.
And it's a score that Newcestown needed, because they haven't had the scoreboard ticking over for about 10 or 12 minutes at this stage, Des, and they need to kick on now before half time. There's 3 points down, and they're well out of the game. Cloyne are totally on top all over the field.
Excellent from Paddy O'Sullivan again, and gets the hand pass away to his left hand side. Kieran Mullins. That's one left behind for Cloyne.
A bit unlucky now, and I suppose if you to praise the man, he's wide on the right hand side of the post at the far side to give it every opportunity to get in.
This time Cahill Wilson not taking any chances, going as long as he possibly can, drops it into that half forward line. Lovely take that from David Buckley.
A very, very good score.
The referee's
blown it back. Yeah, the referee had indicated he had his hand up for a free. Long puck out from Cahill Wilson in goals, and well held over there by David Buckley, and he's earned his team a free.
And this well within range for Cian Healy, and looking down at the flags down below us, wind assisted.
It is, but it is swirling. I mean, on the ground we're seeing the flags are going towards the city end of the field, but when you look at the tricolour, it's actually going to the black reckon. So it's difficult for free takers and for fellas, trying to hit the ball over the bar from 15-60 yards today.
Donald Cusack sends it long, brilliantly taken. And again, looking for that pass, which they have done on a few occasions. Luke Meade that time.
Yep.
As they try and look for the short popped hand pass to work their way out, and it's gone astray and gone awry on a few occasions in this first half.
Yeah, a bit too from blind there from Luke Meade. He had won a great puck out and had tried to give a flick back to his cornerback, but it didn't materialise, and then tried to flick it back behind his arm, and it is deflected out for a line ball. And I suppose with the ball that Sean O'Donovan had won inside for the last point, from play for Newcestown, he may be better off to get the ball into his own square.
Paddy O'Sullivan. Lovely clean contact, and it's drifting in as well. Just didn't have enough to get over the crossbar of Cahill Wilson, who kept his eye on it all the way. And the minor goalkeeper, his clearance is sent back, but sent wide by Jack Hallahan.
Jack will be disappointed with that now, and he should have been aiming for the far side of the field for the left hand post. Went right on his near side.
Excellent puck out from Wilson that time to pick out Colm Deneen, and Deneen with the angle switch of play over towards that far corner, neatly picked up by Cian Healy. That one's dropping short as well, and excellent work by the cornerback Brian Fleming. As experienced as they come, the Cloyne captain, just to ease his man out of it and ensure his goalkeeper Donald Cusack had a clean catch to take under no pressure. Luke Meade drives between two would-be tacklers. Little bounce of the ball to gain more possession. Luke Meade continues on, 2 men to his right hand side. Here's an opportunity for Cian Healy again. Not an easy chance. Oh, but he's got the range. Excellent score made by Luke Meade, finished by Cian Healy.
Yeah, fantastic score from Cian Healy, and great work by Luke Meade to come up the field, rode a couple of tackles, didn't panic, recycled the ball, fell to Cian Healy, and a very, very important score for Newcestown. Again, it's 10 points to 9, but it's actually 9 scores to 6 days.
A 1 point game as Jack Hallahan pirouettes away from Jack Meade. And good covering in behind Garrod O'Donovan. Hand pass worked on by Ty Toomey. Colin Deneen deemed to have charged into his man.
Well, I'd mentioned earlier on, Des, that just already after 20 minutes, he's not going to allow any excess over-carrying of the ball and stuff like that. And, really the Newcestown players and the manager need to start to realise that on your fourth step, they're going to have to release it. And I suppose it's just maybe a trait in football and stuff like that they are taking the extra step. Because more often than not, you will carry the ball into the tackles and stuff like that. But Kieran is consistent. That's the big thing with the referee. He is consistent in what he's blowing for.
Oh, Mikey Cahill. Contact wasn't clean. You could hear it on that one.
No, and that's two that he's missed. He missed the first one was a difficult one because it was outside the 65-yard line for a young lad, and maybe he wanted to play the whole pile of times in Parky Ring, but he would have been expected to score that one.
Yeah, well, they do have a couple of options, I suppose, outside of Mikey Cahill. If he's not having a great day with the frees, but we won't judge him too soon. Paddy O'Sullivan is there. That looked off the ground.
Yeah, picked clean off the ground, and good call by the referee, and it was actually behind. The referee couldn't see it. He was behind the man on the ground, so it was a good call. But no better player maybe than Paddy O'Sullivan, and Paddy is playing very, very well today. He's on a lot of possession, and for the second time now we've seen it. Back chatting from the Newcestown players, and this is certainly what you don't want to be doing in a tight game. Is a free that was on the halfway line has now been brought 10 yards inside the 65-yard line, and we actually do have a change in free taker now.
Yeah, it's Ashley Walsh.
Ashley Walsh will step you up to and a very, very accomplished free taker as well.
Yeah, 3 of his 5 scores against Killa coming from frees. At least 1 minute added on. We've played that minute already, so we might have another one. Who knows, as Ashley Walsh opens his shoulders and sends that one over.
Yeah, struck true and safe, in Mickey Cahill's situation. He didn't strike through the 2 balls that he took the frees from, but he learned from today.
Yeah, 2-point lead for Cloyne, who have rallied after a very slow start to this one. Newcestown coming forward, and the tackle on Ty Toomey draws the ire of the Newcestown people in the stand here. Substitutes away to our left-hand side.
Yeah, I think possibly number 9 Ashley Walsh was probably the person that I'd say he would be going into the book, Des, in my opinion. Nothing more than a yellow card required, but he certainly is a yellow card. Instead of maybe flicking and trying to get in and be a little bit more patient, wait for the player to throw up the ball, he swung slightly wild, and a yellow is probably sufficient for the tackle.
Yeah, Ashley Walsh joining Jack Hallahan on a yellow card in this first half, and another opportunity for Cian Healy. And we're right behind this one, and that's beautifully struck from Cian Healy, and 1 back for Newcestown. 2-5 for Cloyne, 10 points for Newcestown, 1 point game, and the referee will blow the whistle to bring this well contested first half to a close. And we're going to take a brief pause, and we'll be back with you to reflect on the main moments of that first half in a little bit of time. Yes, welcome back to Parky Rin. Really enjoyable first half between Cloyne and Newcestown here on the final round of group games in the Cork Senior A Hurling Championship Group 1. And look at the scoreboard away to my left hand side. It is 2-5 for Cloyne, 10 points for Newcestown. A lot to take out of that first half, I suppose, Mark. You look at how Newcestown started. They had 6 points on the board from 5 or 6 different scorers as well, and all very well taken. But often it comes down to goals, and in terms of that, Cloyne have Noel Cahill, it seems, today.
Yeah, well, he was brilliant now, to be fair. The 2 goals that he scored, similar in the way they were scored, breaking balls, picked the ball up, took on the man, started the first one actually going past one of the defenders, and when Cahill Wilson in goals for Newcestown came out, he he held his head and struck it high into the net. And then in the second one, he passed another Newcestown defender but kept it low underneath Cathal Winston. So he's been very, very sharp for Cloyne today. But overall, I think Cloyne have been, having had probably a weak start. In the first 15 minutes, they were really out of the game. As you say, 6 points to 1 goal, or 6 scores to 1 score, which showed that Newcestown were well on. I suppose had a lot of possession, particularly in the half back line, and Garrod Donovan and Luke Meade were very prominent in the first 15 minutes. But Cloyne have warmed to the task, and they have come into the game, really, really well all over the field, from Brian Fleming and Donlogue in goals right out throughout the team. And I think Paddy Sullivan as well has been on a lot of ball, even though Luke Meade has been on a lot of ball for Newcestown as well. But in the overall context of things, there's very little in the game, but you'd have to say, even though the Cloyne are a point up, two major scores of the 2 goals, so it's it's 10 scores to 7, and that would give me a slight indication that maybe Newcestown have a bit more possession, but Cloyne are leading by a point well there. It's probably too close to call it at the moment, but one thing we know that neither team are going to give up, because Cloyne, even though they didn't play well against Kanturk the first day, against Killa the last day, their last quarter was the most important quarter. They outscored Killa 9 points to 1, so that's certainly in the tank. And we certainly know from a Newcestown perspective, a football team, they will be very, very fit, so they'll keep going as well.
So which manager is happier at the moment?
I don't know. Are either of them happy, to be honest about it? But there's a couple of key messages that you'd be giving to your team. I think that Noel Cahill and Mickey Cahill certainly have the beatings of the 2 boys inside, and I think they need quick early ball coming in from, we'll say, Paddy Sullivan and Keith Denny, Ashley Walsh. The ball needs to come in faster into the full forward line. I think if I'm in the Newcestown bench, I'd be saying to the players, will you leave the referee alone?
Yeah.
You're giving away too many frees, and then when you give away the free, you're back chatting and he's bringing it up. So I think from a discipline point of view, that's the message I'd be giving to the Newcestown team. And I suppose Sean O'Donovan, full forward, probably he's only seen 1 or 2 balls. He possibly needs a bit more ball.
You've caught me, had my finger on Sean O'Donovan there. He got 1 ball in that he got out in front and popped it over the bar straight away. You've got him and Fionn Keane in there as well, 2 big target men. But that ball hasn't been coming in.
No, but I suppose one of the fears is that if the ball is going in and if it's overshot, then it's going into somebody very experienced in Donlogue Cusick. He's not going to make any mistake at the edge of the square. So I suppose it has to be a really, really precise ball. But I think one of the key things that Newcestown will have to look at is do they leave Luke Meade at centre back, or are they going to bring him centre forward? We also mentioned beforehand about Cara Keane and stuff. He hasn't started today. Is there going to be a situation where Cara Keane will be required to come on for his team today? So there's a lot to play for. There's both teams, I think, will be nervous. Both teams are realising, look, this is our chance to get to a quarter final of the county as well, and it's an extremely hard game to call at the moment. A point or a mistake on either side could swing this goal in anybody's favour.
We mentioned earlier on what happened to Newcestown in the game against Kanturk when they shipped 3 goals in a 10-minute spell in the first half, and we said Cloyne got 2 in that first half. Is that something now that Cloyne will be just looking to prey on, do you think, and might there be doubt in the Newcestown mind when the ball goes in there? Well,
I'd be saying the fact that Kanturk got 3 goals the last, Cloyne have 2 at half time, they're certainly not going to be afraid of lumping the ball into the Cloyne full forward line. So I'd be saying, keep going. I mean, if you have a player like Noel Cahill who's absolutely flying, seems that if he can get the ball in front of him and get the ball in his hand, he has the gears to go away from the defence. So I'd be putting in as much ball as possible in there. But Newcestown are going to have to tighten up on him, but then I suppose outside the field, the fact that Luke Meade has been brought from centre forward back to centre back, you would be saying that you just need to get a little bit more out of him and a little bit more urgency, I think, to get that ball into the Newcestown forward line.
And for as good as he's doing there, and he's getting on some good ball, Luke Meade, he's detailed to Mark Paddy O'Sullivan by the looks of it. At least that was it from the start. Paddy O'Sullivan's got 2 very good points in the game. So you're thinking at some point they'll have to roll the dice and just put Luke Meade where maybe they feel he can impact the overall game a bit more.
Well, the one thing you will find with Cloyne is that if they get a sniff of the victory here today, and if Luke Meade comes from centre back to centre forward, they're not going to give him any opportunity to run at them. So Cloyne will tighten up their defence. And we mentioned in the commentary after about 15 or 16 minutes that there was only 4 players inside the Cloyne half of the field, which meant everybody else was after being dragged back up the field here. And that is a tactic that teams do when they're starting to get under pressure and they can't get on the ball. They say, listen, let's tighten our defence. Let's stop us conceding scores back here. And if we do that, then we'll get a couple of balls up to our forward lines to give our forwards an opportunity. But like, that's the tactics that are required to win games at this level now. And Cloyne will be very, very astute in terms of tactics and stuff like that. So, we'll have to wait and see how the game is going to develop, Des. But it's all about for either team at this moment in time.
Yeah, and it's that tight, and we mentioned it already. There's kind of a double opportunity for Newcestown, because if the game ends in a draw, that's good enough for them.
It will, and you wouldn't put a draw beyond doubt, because there's only a point between the teams at this moment in time. So, this is the beauty of the championship then as well, Des. That it forces management teams, it forces players to think. You're coming down the stretch, there's going to be a point in it, or maybe the scores are level. Do I take a point? Do I go for the goal? All that kind of stuff comes into the head of players and stuff like that. So I suppose the important thing is that this is going to develop as the course of the game goes, but the important thing is that the management have gone through that with their players in advance. Yeah. They let them know exactly what, and the key thing for me is the result last night from Cork Rovers. They had 0 points on the board last night, and the way the matches went. So, Ahada beat Youghal beat Courses, and then Cork Rovers beat Ahada. But Cork Rovers had a better scoring difference, and they went from 0 points last night up to 2, but on scoring differences, they qualified for the quarter-final, which means that, the team, and going back into the whole format of the championship, a lot of people, would have been saying they would have been dead rubber games. That wasn't a dead rubber, but in the past people would have said it was a dead rubber. It wasn't. Once you have something to fight for, that's the important thing. And knowing the scoring differences, it gave them the opportunity to get to the championship, and they're now in the championship.
Right, teams are moving again back in position. Before we get the second half underway, just give us a quick overview of how that went overall in the Premier Intermediate, because the late scores in a couple of games means, say for example, you've got Castleines and Blarney, who we covered a little bit earlier on, they're now on opposite sides of the draw. Carrigaline, big result for them.
Well, the key thing that happened last night, and it was at the top of the table between Carrigaline and Castleines, there was 1 point decided who was the top-ranked team, and Castleines conceded a goal. So Inniscarra got a goal later on, and Carrigaline got a goal. There was a 6-point swing, and Castleines were 5 points up. So Carrigaline have actually taken the top spot. What has happened with the draw is that they're now going to be, we say, Blarney, who were the favourites at the start of the year. They're going to be coming in that side of the draw. Whether they get there now or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, that's all for another time. We have a massive 30 minutes of hurling ahead of us here. It's so tight at half time in this Senior A Hurling Championship meeting of Cloyne and Newcestown. Cloyne with the advantage 2-5 to 10 points. But an opportunity more or less right from the throw in here for Newcestown to level matters up. And straight away, once the whistle was blown, Cian Healy was on his way out to have a look at this free. Impressive from the dead ball situations that arose for him in the first half. And this one right on halfway. Up he steps. It's well within his range. And the accuracy levels there as well. And just a start to the second half that Newcestown would have looked for. They've got that first score on the board. And it's all tied up at Newcestown 11 points, Cloyne 2-5 now. Good puck out from Donlow Cusack. Lands it into the hand of Jack Hallahan. Not much space to operate in for Conor Cahill. Cloyne maintained possession though. Good run in support by Ashley Walsh. Scored that free late in the first half, but he pulls this one across the face of Cahill Wilson's goal and wide. And again, just with the change of direction for the teams in this second half, they'll have to judge that swirling breeze. We'll wait and see which side does it better. Good hurl in there from the Newcestown centre half back, Conor O'Neill. Worked out to the far side by Brian Minahan. First out in front is Brian Walsh here, and Walsh has got a turn of pace. Excellent from Brian Walsh as they're finished at the end of it though. And Newcestown got 3 men around him. And the chance is gone for now. Colm Deneen turns away from Paddy O'Sullivan. Support to his left hand side. Big ball dropped in towards the 2 big men in there. Well taken there by Sean O'Donovan. Donovan's got 2 balls into his hand, 1 in each half, and he's registered a point on each occasion.
And the big change straight away now is that Cloyne are playing with 3 in the full forward line now. Brian Walsh, who played in a withdrawn role in the first half, has gone into the full. So Cloyne has 3 in the full forward line, and we see the Newcestown continue with 2 inside there. And Sean Donovan got that ball there on the crossfield ball.
Paddy O'Sullivan couldn't control the puck out from Donlow Cusack, which was maybe a little on the high side, and it's straight away punished by Jack Mead, who saw his opportunity, pounced on it, and sent the ball sailing back over Donlow Cusack's head.
And that's 3 scores directly after half time. We've only 2.5 minutes played, and there's 3 scores on the board for Newcestown.
They've certainly come flying out of the blocks at the start of this second half. Cloyne need to stem the flow, but it's Newcestown to come again. And another good ball dropped inside towards O'Donovan. Can't take it with him this time though, but he's got Fionn Keane there in support. Fionn Keane pops the hand pass out to Cian Healy, and this one is right and wide though. But already we're seeing the impact of Fionn Keane and Sean O'Donovan in there, if the ball that comes in is good.
Cian Healy has drifted way out the field. Brian Fleming has a decision to make now, whether he actually goes with him or he stays as maybe a loose man or a third defender in front of the 2 inside line. And the 2 guys looking down on him, the 2 big men, they're over 6'2" each of them, and they have a height advantage on both the Cloyne defenders.
Yeah, good work from Newcestown there, as Conor Cahill was setting sail down the right hand side, had an opportunity to take his point, albeit a difficult chance. And Luke Mead, I think it was, who got the block in. Sideline cut low down the line, picked up by Ashley Walsh. Walsh looking to use his physicality to drive his way forward, but the referee's been tight on that today as well. And free blown for Newcestown, and they've just found this momentum.
They have this, and like there's only just under 4 minutes, but they are whatever was said at half time seems to have worked. And now what we saw in the first half, where we said there was a back chat from the Newcestown players, this ball has been advanced now in probably a little, has been advanced enough that it actually, if he gets a good strike on this, it may go over the bar.
It's from the 65 in the opposite half. Good contact, but that one gone right and wide as well, and you look at the 2 men in there hoping that might have dropped for them.
Got the contact, but the direction was off, and looking over the far side, it seems as though the Rock O'Sullivan seems to be tugging off, and the slip has been written.
Dermot O'Sullivan, you've got Donlow Cusack and Dermot O'Sullivan, Paddy O'Sullivan, some serious experience in this Cloyne panel, and they're going to react early in the second half as the flow of the game has gone against them. Here is Paddy O'Sullivan, picked up by Hallahan. Big shout from the free man over on the far side, and that's where O'Halloran has gone looking. Now Hallahan back scrapping for it again. Minahan rides the shoulder of James Kelleher. Newcestown look a hungry side out there at the moment now. Back in possession and coming looking for more scores. Good supporting run from Colm Dineen. And Colm Dineen, they thought it was over. It just drifted at the 11th hour, and another wide for Newcestown. Really have the bit between their teeth. They've left a few scores behind them though. Good block from Conor O'Neill. Ball played forward by Jack Mead. Plenty of time here to set his sights, and David Buckley takes full advantage. And Cloyne need to settle things down here.
Yeah, they've drifted out of the game at the moment. A very good score there from David Buckley. Hasn't been involved for the last 15 or 20 minutes of the game, but a very, very important score now. But I suppose the big thing really is that the Newcestown half backline have thundered into the game, and their 2 midfielders, and Jack Mead in particular as well, is getting on an awful lot of ball.
Now, is that Paddy O'Sullivan who's down injured? Just checking at the moment. Dermot O'Sullivan is on.
Yeah, Dermot has come in and wing forward now, and Brian Walsh has come back out the field now to play as maybe a 4th half forward or a 2nd centre forward. That's the position that he's holding up at the moment. But all over the field at the moment, Newcestown seem to be getting the breaking ball. You saw a good block there as well for, Jack Mead had blocked the right half back there in a motorway. So I think just all over the field at the moment, Newcestown seem to be getting the breaking ball. and Cloyne are just finding it hard to get their hands on the ball. But listen, there's 25 minutes left. There's plenty of time to get back into this game. And again, just to reiterate, the tricolour is blowing into the Blackrock end, and the flags on the ground level are blowing into the city. I've never seen it in Páirc Uí Rinn before. I've seen it in Croke Park where you have a wind coming in one side from the Hill 16, but I've never seen it in Páirc Uí Rinn. So it's a swirling breeze.
Now, Paddy O'Sullivan's going to soldier on, but he's not looking too clever at the moment. Might be his right angle that he was receiving attention for. So no sooner is Diarmuid O'Sullivan on, Paddy O'Sullivan's injured, and that would be a massive blow were they to lose him. He did go for a puck out earlier on in the first half, Mark, from Donald Cusack, and he landed and he just didn't seem to get up too quickly. I don't know if it's a hangover from that, or if it's something more recent for Paddy O'Sullivan.
Yeah, but look, Paddy will battle through that now, to be fair. There was an incident earlier on where Luke Meade had won the ball out of the air, and he got the tail of the hurley into the shin bone and stuff like that, which if you get out of the corner of the hurley, it isn't the nicest of things. It's a bit like in the middle of winter when you get this flat of the hurley across the side of your thigh or something like that,
Yeah, you feel that one until March. Here is Cian Healy. Doesn't have the legs, that one. James Kelleher was trying to get up and win it for Newcestown, and he gets on it again. Kelleher took a couple of well taken scores earlier in the game, and this one is beautifully struck.
Yeah, well, you know, a ball that was fumbled inside and came back out, and Cian Healy, who was taking the free from inside his own 70, was drifting back in, and the ball broke out to him, and a very, very important score.
Diarmuid O'Sullivan rising, but that one breaking over his head. Looks to be playing kind of a right half forward / right corner forward position, Diarmuid O'Sullivan, on his introduction. Good work by Sean O'Donovan. Two ways, I guess, Mark, of looking at the Newcestown dual club situation, that there may be an element of fatigue from the games, but also just a supreme level of fitness from these players playing senior in both codes. This one sent in by Brian Walsh, and need a score to settle them. They're not finding it at the moment.
I think it's incredible for a club like Newcestown, the commitment that all those players are given to be able to play at the highest level, in football and hurling. I think it's absolutely magnificent. I don't know of any other club that will say where the players get on so well, because all the other clubs, there's always a bit of infighting in terms of who plays hurling and who plays football. You'll always find that 3 or 4 fellas won't play one or the other for some reason, but for whatever they're taking, that water they have down in Newcestown, everybody seems to buy in, and everybody puts the shoulder to the wheel for the club. But I mentioned earlier on, Des, about the numbers of scores that were being scored, and now I would expect that this will be a point. It's 16 scores to 7, so it is a reflection, I suppose, in some respects, of the amount of possession that Newcestown have.
And the way it's going, Cloyne are going to need more goals in this second half now. Cian Healy standing over another free, converting another free. And Cloyne have to be wary. He's a prodigious free taker, Cian Healy. Donald Cusack. Right down the middle he goes towards Paddy O'Sullivan. Lovely pick up there from Brian Walsh. And it just looked like he was caught late by Colm Dineen after he played that ball, but it goes on, and on a hat-trick is Noel Cahill heading goalwards again. And the referee's going to bring it back for the free.
Yeah, and again, consistent again from the referee, Kieran O'Regan, because in the first half, Ashley Walsh, had done a similar thing where a forward was going through, and he gave him a flick at the hurley, and the same thing has happened here. So good play by the referee here to call back the play. He did leave the play actually develop a little bit, and he gave Noel Cahill the opportunity, but it looked as though the Newcestown defender was just about to take the ball off of him. So, a good decision here by the referee.
Colm Dineen, the man who's got himself on the wrong side of the ref this time, and an opportunity. Mikey Cahill's going to stay on the freeze in the second half. We saw Ashley Walsh land a long ranger in the first half.
Yeah, this is important free for Mickey Cahill now, because he's taken 2 in the first half that they didn't go over the bar. He didn't make clean contact, and I'm a bit surprised that Cloyne actually haven't left Ashley Walsh take this free here. But it's important for Mickey that he would score this one, particularly because Cloyne haven't scored yet in the second half. They've gone 11 minutes without a score now, and it's vital that they get a point out of this here.
Delaying the free due to an injury picked up by Noel Cahill as he was racing goalwards there a moment ago before play was brought back. He's been patched up. And now a chance for Mikey Cahill.
Yeah, no mistake.
Yeah, he's happier with that one.
That'll be good for his confidence now as well, like, you know, and fair play to Cloyne for leaving him on him, you know, because he's a very, very good talent, and he's a player for the future.
Short puck out taken by Cathal Wilson, who gets it back again, and now you can see wind assisted, or at least we think it's wind assisted, drops it down towards Sean O'Donovan, who wins his ball. Cloyne get numbers around him though. He was picked up by Garrod O'Donovan, cousin of Sean. Short pass played out towards this near side. David Buckley goes back to support in his half back line. Eyes on it all the way from the Cloyne captain Brian Fleming. And making hard work of working their way out here, Steve Bosang. And that's a loose one, and Newcestown quickly onto it. James Kelleher. And clever from David Buckley to step back into the pocket, find himself a little bit of space, and David Buckley adds to the Newcestown tally.
Yeah, and if he didn't get that, the referee had indicated that there was a free coming, but Cloyne have moved Paddy O'Sullivan out to full forward, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan has gone in centre forward on Luke Meade.
An indication that I think they know now as well that they're going to need goals in this second half. Diarmuid O'Sullivan sees Marker, tries to get a little nudge on him, Luke Meade, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan's done brilliantly. Here's an opportunity now, Mikey Cahill. Newcestown trying to get back at him. Cahill goes for a goal, beaten away by Cathal Wilson. First save he's had to make in earnest today, but he kept his eye on it.
And just to go back to the passage of play, Des, Diarmuid O'Sullivan had won the ball from the puck out. The referee had indicated a free, but Diarmuid had offloaded to Mickey Cahill, and the goal opportunity was allowed to develop, which is very, very good refereeing from Kieran O'Reilly.
Yeah, Wilson beaten twice by Noel Cahill in the first half, but not by Mickey Cahill there. Sideline ball for A&M Otherway. Looking for options, and slice the sideline cut in field to a Newcestown jersey. And Ty Toomey trying to come away with it under pressure from his opposite number, and Keith Dennehy. Neither man unable to get his hands on the ball. Lovely little sidestep.
And a great feat by Luke Meade there he danced his way out of trouble there. It was beautiful hurling and beautiful feat by Luke Meade.
And great distribution down to Sean O'Donovan in the corner. Here's a chance, not an easy chance for Cian Healy. And that one has drifted to the left and wide. So the scoreboard remains Cloyne 2-6, Newcestown 17 points. Newcestown Premier Intermediate winners back in 2015, hammered Valley Rovers in that final, having lost the 14 final against Ballyhay. Cloyne making another change, Kieran Mullins replaced by Adam Sherlock. Yeah,
I'd say Cloyne would be looking for the water break, Des, at this stage now. They've gone 5 points down, having been a point up at half time.
Just 1 point to show for their efforts in this second half, Cloyne. It's been a struggle for them to threaten that scoreboard. Diarmuid O'Sullivan the target from Dunlow Cusack again. There was a time when that combination one to the other was a lot shorter in terms of range, but not these days. Massive credit to both for continuing to play on with their club, where it all started for them, of course, where they made their name. James Kelleher dropping one in, and Dunlow Cusack eyes on it and cleared away off his left hand side this time. Coming out to meet it is Brian Walsh. Can't secure possession though. Newcestown have it once more, and David Buckley, who's getting on a lot more ball. It's a dangerous looking one in, swinging towards it one-handed was Fionn Keane. Dunlow Cusack can work it away to Jack Hallahan. Hallahan puts everything that he's got behind that one, but Luke Meade, just clever, sees the ball coming, anticipates the pass, gets himself into the right areas, and distribution spot on across to Brian Minahan. Steps inside and away from the recently arrived Adam Sherlock. Excellent block down that, coming in from Ashley Walsh. Cloyne still fighting in this one, but they need some scores and they need them quickly. 45, almost 46 minutes played at Páirc Uí Rinn in a must-win game for Cloyne. A draw or win will guarantee Newcestown into the quarter-finals. Diarmuid O'Sullivan, awkward ball, managed to get his stick on it. Here's Adam Sherlock, the substitute. Back with Brian Walsh. Good pressure. Cathal Wilson has his eye on this one. Brian Walsh has done well there to land that one under pressure.
Yeah, great score from Brian Walsh there now, and great play by Cloyne in general. They got on the first time that they really got a passage of play together and generated a score. Paddy O'Sullivan has come back out from full forward now, back into his original position as centre forward. But we've had a dominant display from Luke Meade, I suppose, in the first 15 minutes, the first quarter of the second half here, Des, and we're Newcestown had 10 points, I think, at half time. They've now moved moved to 17. Like, they've got 7 points to Cloyne's 2 in the first quarter of the second half, you know. So it's has been a really, really good performance from Newcestown. And you'd have to say that, you know, you asked me at half time, you know, what would both mentors be saying? Well, whatever is said on both sides, it has certainly had a huge response from Newcestown.
Yeah, that by a distance has been the most significant quarter of the game that we've had so far. Newcestown have really put the foot to the floor and kicked on here. 7 points to, as Mark mentioned, just 2 for Cloyne. We'll also mention as well that Mark will be hot-footing it from here to Páirc Uí Rinn to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Guard escort or not, I'm not sure, but the keys will be in the car and the engine will be running, because 7 o'clock throw-in for...
I could do the walk, yes, I can tell you.
7 o'clock throw-in for Douglas and Middleton in association with Co-op Superstores. That big game coming up a little bit later on. Looking forward to that one, Mark.
Yeah, looking forward to it now. It's a real winner takes all again, a bit like today, but it's going to be intriguing because, you know, you have, I suppose, a star-studded, I suppose, Douglas forward line really, in the likes of, we say, Shane Kingston, who's really gone through a good vein of form at this moment of time, Alan Cadigan and Ryan Turnbull. But the two, I suppose, Cadigan and Turnbull have had a lot of injuries over the last number of years and stuff like that. So I think, you know, the 3 of those forwards are going to light up tonight. I've been fancying Middleton all along to do justice to the club themselves, because they have been, you know, they have a lot of underage success and a lot of underage players, but they haven't, since the last time they won the county, they haven't kicked on at all. And you know, first time I suppose they've gone for an outside manager or an outside coach, I suppose, in Ben O'Connor. So you know, tonight is a very, very big game, I think, for both clubs in particular. Like, you know, that and it's not just a big game in the context of the championship. I think for both clubs in particular, it's a massive game for both of them.
And a massive final quarter here for Cloyne now, the side that had their glory years, the mid-90s to the mid-2000s, won the 97 intermediate title. They beat Delaney's in that one. Lost 3 in a row senior finals, 04, 05, 06, including Dunlow, Cusack and Diarmuid O'Sullivan in those ones.
Yeah, Diarmuid O'Sullivan's gone full forward in a 2-man inside line with Noel Cahill. So Cloyne will be, I say, would have the intention of going route 1 now for the last quarter, because they find themselves 4 or 5 points down and gone totally out of the game.
Yeah, it's do or die for Cloyne now in the remaining minutes here. The game that they have to win to advance to the quarter-finals. Jack Mead snaps an effort on the turn. Left and wide though, and Cloyne now will have to find that period, will have to find that momentum, will have to find those scores. And it all starts with accuracy on the puck out from Dunlow. Cusack picked up by Ashley Walsh, who turns onto his right hand side, drives one down into the corner. Brian Walsh on the move, gets there ahead of his man Garrod O'Donovan, and Brian Walsh eyes up the target. Brilliant score that from Brian Walsh, just what they needed.
Yeah, fantastic score from Brian Walsh now, and you know, you could probably see there's going to be a bit more urgency. There's going to be a bit more urgency from Cloyne, I would expect. The next 3 or 4 minutes are very, very important.
And Brian O'Shea, who was one of the injury doubts for Cloyne coming into this one, is on the field now, replacing Mikey Cahill. So they've made 3 changes in that forward line, Cloyne, in a bid to find those scores, to turn this game around. Fionn Keane beaten to that one, and losing his helmet in the process was Dave German, who was touch tight to his man. Cloyne looked to come again. Paddy O'Sullivan. It was neither here nor there in the end. Spilled by Cahill Wilson, but no one from Cloyne in close enough attendance to take advantage. And Newcestown can work their way out again. Here's Colm Deneen. Free man over on this near side. Has been picked out. Launched long by Micheál McSweeney, the captain. Breaking ball. Who will it favour? And a bit of roguery going on there with a man lying on the ball, it seems.
Yeah, that's a big. This is a big decision here, Des, in the context of the game, because like it's 2-8, that's 14 versus 17. There's nothing in the game, even though Newcestown had totally dominated the first quarter of the second half. But like, you know, from there's only 1 score in it, and anything could happen at this stage. But you know, a ball that, you know, could have went either way there, and a free in to put it to a 2-score game. That's a very, very important free for them.
Oh, and a mistake on the free. That was a point gone a begging. And could that be costly come the end of it all?
Well, that could be an expensive miss.
Newcestown in the meantime have made a change. And David Buckley showed up well in the second half. The man withdrawn, Jack Mead, felt like he was caught after the ball was played. He's picked out his midfield partner Ty Toomey though. Here's an opportunity for Toomey. He'll take some catching here. Decision time. Does he go for goal? He does, and he's found the back of the net. And that is a massive score from Ty Toomey for Newcestown.
Massive score. And you'd have to give credit to Jack Mead, who actually spotted him, had drifted away with nobody on him. He hit a ball across the field, but he waltzed in from the middle of the field and put a great score into the corner. Donlogue was probably a little bit unsighted and stuff like that, but a great score in the context of the game.
And still, maybe with stoppage time and added on time, there could be maybe 12-13 minutes to go, but is that the one? Is that the score that puts Newcestown into the quarterfinals, we wonder?
Yeah,
and it was positive, wasn't it, for Ty Toomey? Could have taken his point.
Yes, I must say, when I saw him picking up the ball out, around the middle of the field, I said, he should tap it over, take the 4 points, but great credit him for taking it on. I think he was probably 21 yards out at least when he struck it, and that's why I'm saying that I think that Donlogue would be very disappointed at being beaten from 21 yards, but I think he was unsighted and probably couldn't get across to it.
6-point game in favour of Newcestown now, and once again maybe the reliance is on goals for Cloyne as the minutes and the seconds tick away. Ashley Walsh drops this one in. Dermot O'Sullivan can't get out to it in time. Newcestown with plenty of bodies around him. Brian Walsh has come up with a couple of impressive scores in this second half, and despite the appeals from Newcestown, no whistle blown by the referee. Here's Colm Deneen, turns beautifully, and there's support runners there with him as well. There's the maybe the football tactics coming into the hurling game as well. Runners off the shoulder. It's dropped in by the goal scorer Ty Toomey in towards that massive two-man forward line, inside forward line. Sean O'Donovan has lost sight of it. Cian Healy in there as well, along with Fionn Keane. And they're still there, and Healy takes his point.
Yes, and I think that brings Cian Healy's 7 or 8 points now at this stage, and he's been very, very effective both from frees and from play. But you mentioned about Donlogue and Dermot O'Sullivan in the service that they have given to Cloyne for years. The cornerback Brian Fleming has given unbelievable service as well. He's been around as long as the boys have been, and has been an outstanding cornerback, and would never have got the All-Ireland medals or the glory days that the two boys have got, but he has been a stalwart for Cloyne.
Yeah, well mentioned. But they need someone to step up and grab the limelight in these last few minutes, Cloyne, or else their championship year is over. Sent in by Brian Minahan. Over the head of Dermot O'Sullivan, no one in behind him to capitalise though, and Cathal Wilson sharply off his line. And this dropped down towards Daniel Toomey, who scored 1-5 in that 2015 Premier Intermediate final rout of Valley Rovers. He's the man who's come on to replace David Buckley. A dual senior club for 5 years now, Newcestown, and what a job they've made of it as well. The hurlers getting to 2 quarter-finals. Randy McKilly to a point a couple of years back as well.
That's right, and I'd say if the game went on another couple of minutes, Newcestown would have got the result out of it, But they have showed massive composure through the course of the game, and I suppose as the game has gone on, as we mentioned earlier on about the fitness levels of a football team, maybe versus a hurling team in some respects.
I'll tell you what, Sean O'Donovan hasn't got on a whole pile of ball in this game, but he's got 3 magnificent points out of what he has got. Well broken down that by Dermot O'Sullivan. Here's Brian Walsh looking to race around the outside. He's been marked by 2 though, and he's picked up an injury to add to Cloyne's current woes. Newcestown send it long through Colm Deneen, and Sean O'Donovan has stepped away into space, beautifully picked out, and Sean O'Donovan sends another one over the bar. Simple hurling but so effective.
Yeah, and they've continued with the 2-man inside line, the 2 big guys, Sean O'Donovan in one side and Cian Healy on the other side, and I suppose to be fair, the great crossfield ball, and he's well on top now, Sean O'Donovan.
Dermot O'Sullivan couldn't get his hands on it. Cathal Wilson plays it away. Newcestown 118 against Killa, 117 against Kanturk. Here's a ball that has to go into the back of the net from a Cloyne point of view, might do yet but hasn't done. And crucially, Newcestown survived that, but they put up 120 today. Very consistent in their scoring across the 3 games.
Yes, 117 the last, and I think 118 against Killa. So they're very, very consistent, and they give you a good, honest effort every day they go out. They're very, very consistent, and they'll be out again in a week's time playing football again, and they will give exactly the same effort next week.
Well, Kanturk, Charleville, Father O'Neill's, a lot of talk about them as potential winners of this Senior A Hurling Championship, being the sides who all have maximum points from their 2 games so far. But Newcestown, as we would have thought at the start of the championship, very much in the mix here as well. Very tight game, as we mentioned, against Kanturk. It was just a 2-point loss in a Coachford cracker, that one. And they've done this as well today without one of their most influential players, Cora Keane, the injured Cora Keane. If you're late joining us, the injury against Castlehaven for the footballers, unable to play today. But here is his brother Fionn Keane popping up to show what he can do, and starting to pull away now.
It's been very professional performance by Newcestown in the second half. There's only 4 minutes left in the game, but they've totally dominated since half time, and they're full value at the moment for their lead.
Yeah, Cloyne have difficulty troubling that scoreboard in the second half. In truth, probably a few points they could have taken, but needing to go for goals in these late stages. And here they come again. Another man into the fray is Cian Motherway. Gets his hand pass away, had been fouled though.
Yeah, and there's a couple of massive scores coming in.
Looks like Cork, we mentioned, and he is going to come on for the last few minutes.
Wants a bit of action, I'd say. Wants to have the stripe on his jersey to say that he played against Cloyne and won the game. But there's a massive scoreline coming in this grade at the moment. Charleville 3-17 to Fermoy 9 points. That's massive from a scoring point of view. And an even bigger result is coming in from Father O'Neill's 6-16 to 2-11 for Father O'Neill. So, I don't know what the score is in the Kanturk game, but you'd have to be favouring both Father O'Neill's and Charleville without knowing the score from Kanturk. And we might get that before the game is over, but they're two massive results. Sorry, not results, but two massive scorelines at the moment.
No one from Killa sending you that update, no?
No.
We'll get it in due course. We'll get it.
220 to 114. Right, 9 points in it.
That doesn't sound like as emphatic as the scores that Charleville and Father O'Neill's are putting up at the moment.
6-16 is some scoring. I wonder was Decky Dalton and Billy Dunn.
Now a little flashpoint here.
Yeah, a little bit
for Cloyne is Keith Dennehy.
Little bit of a flick back there now. There's nothing in it really. I'd be hoping now that there won't be anything in this. There's only 2 minutes left in the game, and it has been very sporting on both sides. I think the referee Kieran is going to be going to his linesman for a word, but there was nothing in it at all. I'd say he'll get a yellow card I would expect, but we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But I suppose you'd have to give credit for to Newcestown and the overall professionalism of how they've attacked the game in the second half. I think they're 10 points at half time. They've won 11 scored after 58 minutes, or in total 28 minutes of the second half. So they've been very professional, and they're going to be difficult opponents for anybody Des in the quarterfinals.
It's a 10-point lead. It's interesting Cork has come in, considering we've got 58, almost 59 minutes play. That football match coming up. So many of these, I think there was 12 or 13 of the starting 15 will be in action for the footballers who hammered Island Rovers in their first game before a 6-point loss to Castlehaven. And it's Carbery Rangers next coming up for them. That's a huge one for them. It's Cork on, and maybe another change or two to come before the full-time whistle. But a very impressive second half, as you said, and just the type of performance when Cloyne had showed up well in patches in that first half. The type of performance again that just will have people looking at them, as we said, as potential winners of this grade. Yeah, and I mean they've been very professional. I suppose you'd have to say that Cloyne seem to have probably ran out of steam, I suppose, in some respects, and that's not down to their own fault. I say it's more the fitness levels of Newcestown, to be honest. I suppose Cloyne would have been he got a straight red. It's a bit unlucky there, because I suppose with the letter of the law and stuff like that, he did give him a tip of the hurley and stuff like that, but there was nothing major in it now, to be honest with it. But look, the reality is, I suppose, in some respects, I can't fault the linesman for doing his job. Yeah, Keith Dennehy sent off in the second half against Kanturk. He won't see the end of this one either. It brings a disappointing day to an early conclusion for the Cloyne midfielder. Could they get a consolation score or two before the end, though? Here's Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Passed up the opportunity of an easy score if he wanted one for himself. Looked inside towards Noel Cahill. He'll be hoping that at least to maybe get the chance to finish on that hat-trick of goals today. Took his two in the first half so well, Noel Cahill. There's Dusky Fleming cornerback there. Great catch there. He's been a magnificent stalwart for Cloyne, a cornerback. Played nearly all his hurling in the full back line. Had a very strong relationship with Don Love down through the years. Another one dropped in around the houses. Cahill's got it. No, can he get his hurl to swing at it though? He's under pressure. 3 Newcestown men around him. He will get the free for his troubles. Look, he sees intention again. He's such a positive player in there. Yeah, but first intention always the goal if he can get it. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, he'll be back here in a couple of weeks' time, as you mentioned, in the Premier Minor, and he'll be looking for goals that night as well. And Don Logue is in charge of that minor team, very well drilled team as well. And they'll have a big say in the Premier
2 championship in the minor this year.
Paddy O'Sullivan steps up, drills it low and blocked on the line, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan is in and finishes it to the net.
Yeah.
And if one O'Sullivan didn't score it, the other one made sure he did.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic shot from Paddy O'Sullivan and a great save on the line from the Newcestown defence, and a good play there to follow up and finish the rebound.
Well, have we written them off too soon? It's a 7-point game. We're in additional time, of which there's a few minutes to go yet. If they could get another goal pretty quickly.
Yeah, well,
might
look,
set the cat amongst the pigeons here. Colm Dineen, well watched though.
anything can happen in championship matches, as we've seen. I remember watching Midland and Imekilly last year, and Midland got 3 goals in 5 minutes, and they were, I don't know, 12 or 13 points down at the time and brought it back to 3.
Colm Dineen, who's had a big showing for Newcestown, team to have over-carried there.
The important thing now for Newcestown is just to keep the head. Don't give away silly frees. Cloyne will need to get 3 more goals if they're to win this game. So if they don't concede goals, they'll see out the game. But don't give away frees. Force the Cloyne forwards to knock the ball over the bar if they want. But don't give away goals. Don't give away frees. Stand up, man up to the situation now, because they put themselves into a winning position and just see out the game.
Yeah, it's 3-9 now. That free from Paddy O'Sullivan makes it for Cloyne. So that's 18 points, 121. For Newcestown, 24, 6-point game. Ball in the hands of Edmund Keneally, one of the minors, or rather sent down by Paddy O'Sullivan. Paddy O'Sullivan and Cathal Wilson, eyes on that one all the way. And Newcestown racing out of defence once more. Good work by Jack Mead just to step into space, feeling he was caught late.
No, genuinely, it's only a tap, and I'll be honest with you now, what is happening here is that I suppose the Newcestown mentors on this side of the field have made, and it's very, very difficult for the referee. Yes, he got a little tap, but it was absolutely nothing in it. Absolutely nothing. And, Kieran Regan's in a difficult position because by the letter of the law, it is with the hurley, which is the problem. But there was absolutely nothing in it at all, but it was more that the mentors on the Newcestown sideline have made a big meal out of it. Noel
Cahill, the Cloyne man involved.
And if there was a big crowd here, you wouldn't even hear it or notice it. This happens in all matches where fellas will get a tip here and a tip there.
Now almost 64 minutes played. And Edmund Keneally, who won the minor Division 1 title last December, scored 13 points in the final against Kanturk. It's a beautiful strike, and it's ended up in the back of the net. Exactly who got the final touch, I'm not entirely sure. But there were a few sniffing it.
I think
you're giving it to
Cara Keane. I think he'll be claiming it. I think definitely he'll be putting that on the
it was either
on the score sheet.
It was himself or the brother, I think. It was one of the two of them.
I certainly don't think it went all the way to the net anyway.
Young Edmund Keneally might claim it, but a couple of Keanes are certainly claiming it. A 2:21 big score put up by Newcestown today, an impressive score that. And Jack Mead puts the cherry on top with a massive score from distance. Another who's had a prominent game today. And they didn't need to move Luke Mead, who I'm just watching at the moment, is in between his full back and half back line, just covering any ball that's heading in Diarmuid O'Sullivan and Paddy O'Sullivan's direction.
Yeah, no need to move them, Des, because to be fair to them, the first 5 minutes of the second half, they totally dominated the game, and they scored 7 points to 2 in that 15 minutes straight after half time, and there was no requirement to do it. But he has been very, very impressive playing at centre back today. Is this something that we might see later on for the inter-county team? We have a couple of requirements, I'd say, in the back line if people aren't to be looking at it. Maybe Luke Mead could solve one of those issues.
Edmund Keneally, the latest to take a point. You're talking about Luke Mead playing in the backs. Colm Spillane we've seen playing in the forwards. Doesn't matter these days, does it?
Good players can play anywhere. That's the key
anywhere. That's it. Well taken by Colm Dineen, as we mentioned earlier. He's had a big showing for Newcestown today. But they really have put their credentials on show in this second half. Big display against the Cloyne side that have given it what they've got, but have come up short in this one. It's another one sent over the bar, this one from Sean O'Donovan.
Yeah, 2:23 is very, very impressive scoring.
2:24 with that last one to Cloyne's 3-9, a high scoring affair at Parky Rin. But the victory is Newcestown's, and now, as we mentioned, it's flick the switch for most of these Newcestown players, and it's back to the big ball game next week.
Straight over to the football now, and I suppose it's the nature of it. But you know, what a great way to be going into a football championship match, knowing that you're in the quarterfinals of the Senior A hurling championship, which is great for them. And
right, well, we'll take a quick break and we'll reflect on the main moments very briefly, as we said, because Mark will be on his way over to Páirc Uí Chaoimh in a moment. We'll be back to you in a few minutes' time. Welcome back to Páirc Uí Chaoimh, where we're reflecting on a very good second half showing, in particular from Newcestown, who have beaten Cloyne comfortably in the end on a scoreline of 224 to 39 to book their place in the quarter-finals of the 2020 Cork Senior A Hurling Championship, and impressive winners in the end, Mark.
Yeah, and you know, something Des, it didn't look apparent at half time that you were going to have such a runaway victory for Newcestown in the second half, but I think it's more that Newcestown really upped the game. Whatever Jim O'Sullivan said to him at half-time certainly had the desired effect, and we couldn't have spotted that at half-time, particularly the manner of it. Now, I still felt that Newcestown had more scores and had made more chances, but they were very, very impressive in the second half, and they've sent out a strong message to anybody that they're not going to be any pushover in this championship. Yeah,
good spread of scores as well from their half-back line through midfield and up to the forwards.
Yeah, but I think Sean O'Donovan in the second half got a better supply of ball. They stuck with the two-man inside line, and there was good delivery of ball from the backs in the midfield as well. Jack Mead was very, very impressive in the overall context of the game as well, and Cian Healy was unerring from frees. But I suppose the big highlight of the game, the big decision that Newcestown made, was placing Luke O'Mead in the centre-back position, marking, I suppose, in some respects, marking Paddy Sullivan and trying to quell his contribution to Cloyne. But I think more in context, he got on an ocean of ball, was very, very dependable, both in the air and on the ground, and delivered great ball into the forwards as well. So, you know, I think that was a big decision to take your key forward and put him back in centre-back. A big decision which has paid off in this occasion for Newcestown.
I think Newcestown manager Jim O'Sullivan, he'd be happy as well with how they shored things up defensively as well in the second half. Now, I know there wasn't as much coming at them, but having shipped the 2 goals in the first half, they didn't look in too much trouble there in the second.
No, it didn't. And you know, the kind of forward Noel Cahill had got 2 fantastic goals in the first half, and they didn't give him a sniff in the second half. And then when you have the likes of Diarmuid O'Sullivan and Paddy O'Sullivan in the forwards as well, I thought very, very good defensive play from Newcestown. But in the overall context of things, it was all about Newcestown's fitness, I think, in the second half, and their willingness to, I suppose, get on the ball and win the dirty ball and then convert the scores.
Yeah, you mentioned it during the game, and we'll mention it once more because it's worth mentioning. It's their 5th year as a dual senior club. And most of those lads, we reckon maybe 12, 13 or the starting 15, maybe even 14, are dual senior players, and they'll roll on again and they'll line up for the footballers next week. But what they've done as a club over the last 4 or 5 years has been remarkable.
It's phenomenal, to be honest with you. There's no other club, I think, in the county that has that amount of dual players that are playing hurling and football, and particularly in this current pandemic, whereby you are playing hurling and football every second week, and the county board is trying their best to be as fair to clubs as possible. But when you see Cara Keane, who had stitches, you know, and didn't start today and was willing to come on with 5 minutes with a big, very important football match next weekend, it just shows you the spirit that's in the club at this moment in time. But the fact that they can keep the whole thing together, and there's, we say, no real I suppose, break up in terms of attitude and stuff for that, and this fella isn't playing and that fella isn't playing, I think is tremendous attitude out of the Newcestown club to play at senior level in both grades in hurling and football. Yeah,
final score once again, as we remind you, Newcestown 224, Cloyne 3-9. Newcestown through, along with Kanturk, from this group to the quarter-finals of the Senior A Hurling Championship. You've got the car keys?
Yeah,
ready to go?
On the road, straight out now.
Right, for Mark Landers, it's from Páirc Uí Chaoimh to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Middleton Douglas on the way with the Examiner. Delighted to bring you all this coverage in association with Dairy Gold and Co-op Superstores. From Mark and myself for now, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for that big one coming from Páirc Uí Chaoimh in a short while time.